I would imagine everybody knows by now who Joe Biden picked as his running mate. That would be Kamala Harris. And they both made the announcement together. They both held a press conference. I thought that the press conference was well done on both ends. Joe Biden, of course, introducing Kamala. There were some emotional moments there. And while all this was going on, I was flipping back to Fox News because they had the Donald Trump coronavirus press conference. Talk about different ends of the spectrum. We'll get to that. But there were some shots taken. I don't think anybody should be surprised. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were taking shots at Donald Trump and Donald Trump's administration for a good portion of this press conference. Let's start with Joe Biden because Joe Biden came out first with Kamala, but Joe spoke first. And listen to what Joe had to say about Donald Trump yesterday.
Donald Trump has already started his attacks, calling Kamala, quote, nasty, whining about how she is, quote, mean to his appointees. It's no surprise because whining is what Donald Trump does best, better than any president in American history.
So Donald Trump has admitted that, by the way. That's not a farce. Donald Trump is on the record on Fox News as saying, I'll whine and I'll cry until I get what I want and I win. That is a quote from Donald Trump. He said that in an interview on Fox News. So Joe Biden is being factually accurate there. I actually thought Joe Biden did a good job yesterday. I thought, I know what people are going to say, and every president does it. Most candidates have done it that are running for president, especially in a big-time press conference like that. You're going to read a teleprompter. But just because you're reading a teleprompter doesn't mean you're good at it, doesn't mean you're showing conviction. I thought Joe Biden showed a lot of emotion and conviction yesterday. Thought he did a good job. And a lot of people, a lot of Democrats, and a lot of people that have had some concerns over Joe Biden said they were really impressed with what he did yesterday. And then he introduced Kamala Harris. And listen, I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. People can say what they want about me. Oh, Brian, you sound like a liberal. Oh, Brian, you sound like a Democrat, which I'm not. I'm speaking as an independent and as an American. And as an American, regardless of your thoughts, personal feelings, or political feelings on Kamala Harris, it is a good moment for the country, Republican or Democrat, when you have a woman who is a minority in this type of position. I think it is an emotional moment and is a good moment for the country. I think it's fantastic. And, all the young girls out there, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, when they see this, I think it's a good thing. It's a great thing for the country. So I want to say that to start. Forget about all the rhetoric and all the hate or the love, the bias, whatever the case may be. Unless you are a complete racist fool or a misogynistic prick, you will admit that having a woman of color in this type of situation as a whole in general terms is a good thing for America, just like Barack Obama. You could have hated Barack Obama's presidency. You could have hated Barack Obama personally. Different situation. Just speaking of an African-American man becoming the first president is a good thing for this country. So let's go to Kamala Harris now. She was talking a little bit about Joe Biden. This was the part that I got a little choked up, I'll be honest with you, because you see Joe Biden getting teary-eyed as well. This is horrible. Beau Biden, Joe Biden's son, died of cancer a few years ago, and it's horrible. And the Bidens have been through a lot. I can't even imagine, what Joe Biden has been through. Again, you could talk about politics all you want to. If you want to talk about him sniffing hair, go right at it. But the bottom line here is that Joe Biden has dealt with, and not to say other people in life haven't dealt with horrible things as well, but Joe Biden losing his wife and one of his kids in a car crash years ago, and now losing his son Beau to cancer, it's very sad. So Kamala brought that up. She brought up, because Kamala, I don't think people realize this, she had a very good personal friendship and relationship with Beau Biden as Attorney General. So she talked a little bit about that. Have a listen to this.
And I will tell you, the love that they shared was incredible to watch. It was the most beautiful display of the love between a father and a son. And Beau talked about how Joe would spend 4 hours every day riding the rails back and forth from Wilmington to Washington so he could make breakfast for his kids in the morning and make it home in time to tuck them in bed each night. All of this, so 2 little boys who had just lost their mom and their sister in a tragic accident would know that the world was still turning. And that's how I came to know Joe.
I thought that was really cool. Talking about Joe Biden's family, of course, his late son. I thought that was an emotional moment. They showed Joe Biden there in the background getting teary-eyed, rightfully so. He just lost his son a couple years ago, and they had a very close relationship. Any father or son that was listening to that, regardless of your political affiliation, I think you get a little choked up in seeing that. So that was a nice moment. And I think that's what people in America need right now. Just in general terms, a little bit of empathy, a little bit of compassion, a little bit of emotion, real emotion. And I thought that was to me, that was my favorite moment in the whole press conference, because it had nothing to do with politics, right? It had nothing to do with policy. She's just talking about Joe Biden, the human being, and the late son, Beau Biden. To me, anyway, that was my favorite part of the whole press conference, because it was real. It was real. Joe Biden was crying. I mean, it was real. So I appreciated that, and that was the part that, I said, wow, that's really cool. So then we got onto the politics, and you knew that Kamala Harris was going to talk about Donald Trump. Why not? They're running against him, of course. Nothing wrong with that. So Kamala now blaming Trump, and she has been for a long time now, for the mishandling of the coronavirus crisis. Have a listen to this.
When other countries are following the science, Trump pushed miracle cures he saw on Fox News. While other countries were flattening the curve, he said the virus would just, poof, go away. Quote, like a miracle. So when other countries opened back up for business, what did we do? We had to shut down again. This virus has impacted almost every country. But there's a reason it has hit America worse than any other advanced nation. It's because of Trump's failure to take it seriously from the start.
Now, I certainly agree with that. I want to read a few more comments that she made here. She said, besides the miracle drugs that he said was a cure from Fox News, she also said, quoting him, just like everything he's inherited, he ran it straight into the ground. She also said this virus has impacted almost every country, but there's a reason.
She was talking about unemployment.
There's a reason it has hit America worse
he inherited.
Than any other advanced nation. It's because of Trump's failure to take it seriously from the start. I agree with that. It didn't have to be this way, she said. She said 6 years ago, in fact, we had a different health crisis. It was called Ebola. Barack Obama and Joe Biden did their job. Only 2 people in the United States died, too. That's what's called leadership. So she went on and blasting the Trump administration. But, of course, Donald Trump responded to all this, right? He responded to it this morning on Fox Business. Have a listen to this.
And now you have a sort of a mad woman, I call her, because she was so angry and such hatred with Justice Kavanaugh. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. She was the angriest of the group, and they were all angry. They were all radical left angry people. And they're angry because I beat them. Yeah. They still haven't forgotten. These are seriously ill people.
Seriously ill people. I don't think Kamala Harris is seriously ill. They're running a campaign just like Donald Trump ran a campaign when he was running against Hillary Clinton. If you recall, to use Donald Trump's term, he was also very nasty. What Kamala Harris is doing is what any other good politician would do. Same thing with Joe Biden. It has nothing to do with being mentally ill. So if that's all Donald Trump has to combat, and see, this is why I think Kamala Harris was the right pick, because I think it's going to be, I think it'll be a lot easier. Let me put it to you this way. I think it'll be a lot easier for Donald Trump to go after Joe Biden than for Donald Trump to go after Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is going to be the vocal one. Kamala Harris is really going to be the one that attacks Donald Trump. I'm talking every single day. And Donald Trump is going to have to answer to that. And I think Kamala Harris is going to do a good job. I don't know how Joe Biden is going to do on that debate stage. I really don't. But I'll tell you this for sure, and I'm very confident in this. Kamala Harris is going to wipe the floor clean with Mike Pence. I believe if Kamala Harris was on a stage with Donald Trump, I would say the exact same thing. I don't think it's going to go that way. That's, as someone who does not want Donald Trump to win, I am concerned about Joe Biden up there on the debate stage. It's not because I think he's senile. It's not because I think he's got medical issues. Joe Biden, I just never considered him to be great on a debate stage. That's all. And I think Kamala Harris is very, very good with her prosecuting skills. Would you agree with that, JD? Let's just focus on Kamala Harris and Mike Pence. I think Kamala Harris will do a very good job. I'm not worried about that at all.
I mean, Mike Pence a couple days ago said, "I'm ready for you, Kamala," in Salt Lake City. He said, "I'll see you in Salt Lake City." So I don't think that he's necessarily scared of Kamala Harris.
Well, I didn't say that.
Right, and I think he'll do pretty well. Kamala Harris obviously is experienced as a prosecutor. You've watched her depose Chad Wolf, the head of the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security. You've watched her depose Justice Kavanaugh. Obviously, yeah, she asks very pressing questions. She stays on topic. We played the audio yesterday of her with William Barr, where she goes infer. She had all those synonyms that she used. So yeah, Kamala Harris is very capable, or at least she should be on that debate stage. But yeah, Joe Biden should probably. I don't think he'll do very well against Donald Trump. The thing about Kamala Harris is that right now she's being touted as a moderate, and she was actually, according to GovTrack.us, she was considered the most liberal senator in the United States.
Well, I completely disagree with that, because you can't find me a liberal that over prosecutes people or is as tough as she is. So I completely disagree with that.
Well, that's one aspect of the thing. I mean, Brian,
I couldn't find one liberal who does that.
She supports a mandate to buy back your assault rifles, which means basically confiscate with credit. She actually supports that. She does.
And
she supported universal health care across the board, Medicare, and taking away every single private policy. Now she walked back that statement, but she supports that. She supports a major tax hike, where a hike to the extent where every single trade in Wall Street in the stock market is taxed, and that tax money goes elsewhere. I mean, she is not exactly a moderate. She's far from.
Okay,
and with her being as integrated now with Joe Biden, and then there was actually a poll done where 49% of Democrats say that they don't believe Joe Biden is going to finish his first term.
Okay, well, I don't know where you got that from. I can only speak for myself. And first of all, I would imagine those 49% of people are not doctors.
I'm saying Democrats.
Okay, well,
people who identify as Democrat and are going to vote Democrat,
okay, but here's the thing.
Are expecting Joe Biden to not finish his first term.
Okay, so let me respond to that. First of all, I'm so tired of people saying those types of things, that Joe Biden isn't going to finish and he's going to croak and in 3 months he's going to step down. I'm so sick and tired of people making stupid, idiotic conspiracy theory comments like that, because there's no evidence to back that up. That's number one. Number two.
Well, you look at him, Brian.
Okay, that's absurd.
That's the argument.
Okay, you know what? Let's go with that for a second. If you really want to go look at him, you have a man who is the president of the United States right now, who looks like a fool, who is obese.
Why does he look like a fool?
Okay, well, you got to let me finish. You got to let me finish.
He's not obese.
You got to let me finish.
He is overweight.
You got to let me finish. You got to let me finish. He looks like a slob with his fake, stupid tan. Did you see him in the coronavirus press conference yesterday, mumbling and stumbling over almost every word? I watched it myself. So if anyone out there on the right is going to make the case that you think Joe Biden is either going to die or going to step down, then you better make those same statements about Donald Trump, the obese Donald Trump. I am not a doctor, so guess what? I'm not making either of those statements. And by the way, you probably won't find somebody out there that dislikes the human being Donald Trump more than I do. But if you notice on this show, I rarely ever bring up his health, ever, because you know why? Just like the anti-mask idiots out there who think they are all scientists and doctors, Brian Shapiro is not a doctor. Okay, I give you my political opinions on a lot of different things, but I am not going to give you my opinion, my a doctorate degree that I don't have. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-257-5396. And let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, in general terms, and I know it's really hard for some people to hear an independent say this, but I'm going to say it myself. Both Joe Biden and Donald Trump are old. They're in their 70s. They're not both sharp. I wish that we could have presidents in this country that were not over the age of 70. While I agree that you shouldn't be allowed to be a president until you're at least 30, you also shouldn't be allowed to be a president if you're 85. There needs to be rules, laws in effect. Let's take.
By the way, just one more statement about Kamala Harris. The analysis showed that in 2019, she joined bipartisan legislation the least often compared to Senate Democrats.
Fair enough. Before we get to the actual phone calls, I want to play one more piece of audio because I think it's important.
Okay, I play it.
Judge Jeanine, who I think is a complete fool, and we've had some great judges on this show. Judge Napolitano's been on this show before. I have zero respect for Judge Jeanine. I think she's a complete idiot, and she says horrendous things and also stupid questions. You know, I tell you one thing right now. If I had Donald Trump on this show, I wouldn't ask him what type of vitamins he takes. That's the type of question you get from Judge Idiot. Anyway, Judge Jeanine, doesn't think Biden will make it to Election Day. We were just talking about this. You know, she's another one. You can hear people in the background, her colleague Dana Perino groaning as she made this statement on Fox News. Have a listen to Judge Jeanine.
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. The first thought that I have, Jesse, is for some reason, I just have this feeling that Joe Biden isn't going to be on the ticket. I have a sense that something's going to happen before the election, and he's not even going to be on the ticket. So don't even ask me if he's going to make the 4 years.
Yeah, completely idiotic and ridiculous and irresponsible for Judge Jeanine. You can hear, by the way, you won't find anybody more on the right there than Dana Perino. And you can hear her in the background groaning. Why? It's one thing to have a conversation at the water cooler. You know, somebody that might be biased. Joe's going to croak. He's not going to make it. It's another thing when you are a professional on the air. And I don't think Judge Jeanine is professional at all. Making a statement like that. You can hear her colleagues in the background groaning. It's pathetic.